The noise isn't the problem. It's actually a signal, a really important signal. And that is that something inside you is asking for space or safety or a need to slow down.
Today's conversation is for anyone who feels like their mind never really switches off. You might be doing all the things, showing up, working, caring, trying, yet still feeling overwhelmed, mentally tired, or disconnected from yourself. And that can be confusing, especially when nothing is technically wrong. We hear journaling recommended all the time, but rarely do we talk about why it works or how to use it in a way that actually creates relief, no more pressure or another thing to get right. That's why I'm really excited about today's conversation. I'm joined by Tasmin Franssen, a journaling therapist and the creator of the Being of Mind method. Tasmin's work gently reminds us that we are already enough and that clarity doesn't come from pushing harder. It comes from learning how to listen to ourselves with safety and compassion. In this conversation, we're talking about the loud mind, emotional regulation, and how journaling can become a grounding practice that supports real life, not an ideal one. So, before we dive in, let me just say if you are here, it's because you care about growth, not just in business but in life. You are someone who wants to step into your best version every single day, and these conversations are here to guide you. So, welcome to the Mompreneurs Growth Academy podcast, your go-to space where we redefine what it means to be a mom, a business owner, and a woman stepping fully into her power. Here, we don't do chaos, we do alignment, simplicity, and strategies that actually work for you. I am Viviana Castaneda, marketing professional, content and visibility coach, and a mom with over 7 years of experience running my own business while raising my kids. Hello, Tasmin. Thank you for being here with me one more time. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. I'm so happy to be here again. It's been ages. So
I'm
yeah,
so
thanks
happy.
for having me.
I'm so happy to have you. I've seen many things that you're doing now, and it's really nice to be here having this chat with you again. I have a couple of questions, well, several questions that I'm sure is going to be of high value for my audience and yours as well. So let's dive in.
Hope so.
Tasmin, my first question for you is from your perspective as a journalist therapist. What's really happening when someone says, my mind feels loud?
Okay. So when someone comes to me and says that their mind feels loud, what I hear is what's going underneath that. And that is that their mind is actually really overloaded. So it's not that there's anything wrong with them. You know, their mind isn't broken. It's just that it's extremely loud because we live in a very loud world right now, don't we? There's constant information, constant pressure, and really very little space for us to be able to process that. So our minds are doing what they're supposed to do, and they're trying to process everything and keep us safe. And it's trying to stay one step ahead of everything because it's got a lot going on. So the problem isn't that their mind is loud, it's that it's tired. And when our nervous system doesn't feel safe or settled, then our brain decides it wants to stay alert. So it keeps scanning, it keeps thinking, it keeps replaying things from over the day. Not because it wants to, but because it feels like it has to, and it gets stuck in a loop. Really, it's just trying to hold in too much information. So the noise isn't the problem. It's actually a signal, a really important signal. And that is that something inside you is asking for space or safety or a need to slow down. So that's what I would think if someone came to me and said that their mind was loud. They're just
Yeah.
overloaded and overwhelmed.
It's interesting because when you are like, your mind is just thinking about every single thing that you need to do in life, kids and the house and the work and all that stuff. And you feel like you need that rest to calm your
Hmm.
mind down, but it's really hard to calm it down. Like, how
Yeah.
do you calm it down? It's like, if you want to sleep, you want to have some rest, you want to have this break, and then you try, and it doesn't allow
Yes.
it. What do you recommend to give the first step and get your mind a little bit calm so we can actually settle down?
I think the first step is understanding that we're overwhelmed to start with,
Mm-hmm.
because we've got a lot going on. So we need to make sure that we have an outlet for all the things that we're taking in. We need to make sure we create time in our day that we can decompress and calm down, because we really need that. We need that decompression time. And it's not easy to find, especially when we're super busy. But it really is important. And making sure that we aren't consuming too much information. Like, we're just bombarded with information now. So really, to make sure we keep that in check. Try and
Yeah,
keep an eye on those things.
absolutely. Yeah, especially news. The news can take your peace away
It
in
can,
just a
absolutely.
second.
Yeah, I avoid the news as much as possible, to be honest with you. Like, I do keep in touch with world events and affairs, because you need to have knowledge of what's going on. But, we live in a world where we know everybody's news. Like 100 years ago, you knew the news in your local area or in your family. But now we're knowing everything from all around the world, and it's available 24/7. And most of it isn't positive. So if we're consuming that, especially the news, on an ongoing basis, that's going to affect you. Your brain's really going to try and
Absolutely.
process all that you're taking in. Yeah.
Yeah. 2, 3 news, 4 news a day can make you feel completely unsafe.
Hmm.
And from there, a chain of feelings and emotions. Tasmin, a lot of people tell me they can switch their brain off. And that's what I just was telling you. Even at night,
Hmm.
um, especially at night, what's going on there and why it is so common. Now, one question. Before that, this happened to me a lot, and that's why I bring this up. Like, at night, especially when I'm trying to sleep and I know I need that rest, I do need those at least 6 hours of
Yeah.
deep sleep. It's really hard to make it happen.
Yeah. And sleep, we need it. Like you just say, you need your 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
um, Sleep is when our body reboots. So if we're not getting good quality sleep, then our brain isn't getting time to really rest. So what's happening when we go to bed at night and we can't switch off, um, is that our minds are still busy and they're active. And what really quietens the mind isn't forcing positive thoughts or telling yourself to calm down, which is what we do when we go to bed. We're like, okay, it's rest time now, so just switch off. Our brain will only switch off when we feel safe. So what's happening here when we can't get to sleep is our nervous system doesn't recognize that this is the safe, quiet time to rest yet, because of everything we've got going on in our brains. So during the day, it's often in go mode. We've got a lot going on. It's responding, it's managing, it's performing. And when we finally have time to stop at night, the mind goes, oh, okay, now I have space to process everything, over the day. So the thoughts rush in, and not because we're bad at relaxing, but because our brain finally has a chance to process everything that's taken place over the day, and it thinks this is the perfect time. And it's incredibly common now, because we live in a world that doesn't have natural wind down moments. You know, we're living in a world that's on the go all the time, 24/7. And I actually saw a survey recently that was taken about how often people are using their phone. And it said on average, people are picking up their phone to check it 150 times a day. That's a crazy amount of times to just go to your phone. I mean, I'm guilty of it myself. Like, if I'm not careful of how much I use my phone, I'll go and probably pick it up every 20 minutes or something. So we really have to keep it in check, because each time we're going to our phone and picking it up, we're being fed information that our brain then needs to process. So I kind of
Mm-hmm.
think of it visually like you had 150 sticky notes up on your wall. And they're all over the place in a mess, and you know that you have to sort them, you have to organize them, but you haven't got time. You haven't got a time set aside to do that. Like, I feel just a bit stressed just thinking about that, you know, the thought of having all this to organize. But our brain is doing that every single day. It's taking in all that information multiple times a day, and then it has to process it. So I think that's why it's so common now. We're just sort of overstimulated with information, really. So we really need to take either during our day, which journaling is great for. It's kind of that bridge. It's really good for letting the mind unload before you hit the pillow, just getting it all
Yeah.
out, because it's when it's trapped in your head that you end up not being able to sleep at night. The thoughts are just
Yeah.
ruminating, they're just going round. So you need an outlet before your nervous system can come down from survival mode into rest mode.
It's like, because it is so much information. Let's say that if you want to have a really good night's sleep, you need to start preparing yourself since the morning. Like,
Yeah, you
right?
actually do. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you
Yeah.
do. That's why it's so good to have like a sleep hygiene habit. If you can create a sleep hygiene routine, that's really useful. Just like have a little moment, almost like a little ritual you do to wind down from the afternoon, basically, you know, limit your caffeine, make sure your sleeping environment is very comfortable and like somewhere you want to be, like your little safe place. Have your journal, so make sure you can brain dump if you need to before you go to sleep. Have a read, whatever it is you need to do, breathwork exercises, maybe you use essential oils to help regulate your nervous system, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
It really helps your mind get in the right place, because it just needs to switch off. So yeah,
Yeah.
something to think about. Sleep hygiene routine is brilliant for that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I definitely need to try that one. Why do you think so many high functioning women feel stuck, anxious, or disconnected from themselves, even when they're doing everything right?
I think it's because they're stuck in survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
So they are trying to do their best all the time. So high functioning women are striving continuously. And I think that's a real challenge for them. So I think that they need more of an outlet. They need more time just to reconnect with themselves. People who are constantly on the go and striving, I think they need to just be able to, reconnect and kind of be more self-aware. That really helps them to come back to themselves.
Yeah.
And journaling's great for that, for getting people to understand how they're feeling inside.
Talking about journaling, journaling is often recommended. You recommend journaling, but many people don't really understand why it works and
Mhm.
why is journaling more than just writing your feelings down. Because let's say someone wants to start journaling and they just write a couple of paragraphs about how they feel, but then it's like, how is it going to change my, I don't know, life or the
Life.
way I see the
Yeah.
things?
Okay, I think it's because journaling isn't really about writing. You're not an author and you're not writing a bestseller, you know. And people go into it and they think, oh, I have to write down loads of stuff every day. But it's not about that. It's about giving your thoughts and feelings space outside of your body. because we're holding everything inside. So journaling is kind of an external place to put all those pent up thoughts and feelings. So when thoughts stay inside your mind, they start looping, and we're going round and round. But when you journal, your thoughts aren't any longer trapped in that loop, and they're not inside your head, and they're not inside you. They've been seen, they've been expressed, and they're written down somewhere safe. And your body then gets the message of, I don't have to hold all this inside by myself. Like, it's just out there. Like when you've got something on your mind and you talk to a friend and you just feel that lift, like I've been able to express myself and my friends heard what I've said. Even if they don't give you advice, just being able to speak to someone else is so important. It regulates our nervous system. It takes it right back down. And journaling is the same. It slows our nervous system down, and it engages rather than reacts. So we have time for reflection rather than reaction. And it creates space for us, for all the things that we've been holding inside. So that alone can reduce stress, just getting it out there. So journaling is not about fixing yourself on the page. You're listening to yourself. It's just an outlet to listen to yourself. And being heard is incredibly regulating for us as humans. We need that outlet. And our journal then becomes our friend that's always there to listen to us, no matter what. And we can say the same thing over and over again and express ourselves as many times as we need. We can say things we'd never say to other people because it's a safe place. So I think that's why some people find it hard. And the other reason they find it hard is because they're overthinking their journaling. They're going in deep and philosophical from the very beginning. And it's not always about that, like you don't have to unravel every feeling you have and go through everything. Sometimes it's just nice to write a little bit every day, something that happened, or gratitude journaling is one thing I recommend for people who are feeling like maybe they're not ready to go into deep journaling with their emotions. They find it a bit of a challenge, almost a hurdle to start. Just a nice gratitude journaling moment every day. Write down a couple of things that you're grateful for or nice things that happened in your day. It's a really lovely entry point into journaling without feeling overwhelmed.
How many times during the week, or how long do you recommend during one day, to do journal?
Okay. Well, I honestly think everybody's journaling journey is different. So some people are able to dedicate a lot of time to journaling, and other people have a couple of minutes a day. So I don't think there's any fixed amount of time. I really think it's more intention and quality over quantity. So starting out, if you can do maybe 5 minutes in the morning, just writing down maybe some plans for the day, or maybe a thought you had that you want to dwell on over the day, whatever, little things, for 5 minutes. And then in the evening again before bed, as part of your wind down routine, 5 minutes about what you're grateful for or things that happened in your day. They seem really simple, but they make a massive difference. And if you can be consistent with it for 21 days, you actually can rewire your brain to be in a more positive mindset, which helps you in all the other aspects of life, having that more positive outlook. So I wouldn't say there's particularly a specific time or amount of time or how many times a week. Like in my journaling club, we have some people who journal once a week and we have other people who are journaling every day. So everybody's different. You've just got to find what fits in with your routine, because that's going to vary depending on your own circumstances and situation, really.
Yeah. You know what? This is a very simple statement that the answer that you just gave me, but is something that I think most people ask themselves when they want to start journaling because they don't know how it works, and it's like, should I journal every day? But if I don't do it every day, then it is not going to work. Maybe if I do it only once a week, for me, I'm just gonna forget about it. So that answer is really good. So people know, like, there is no rules. It depends on yourself, and
Exactly.
just, I would say, just
Like,
make it happen. Be
yeah,
consistent.
exactly. Make it happen when you can make it happen and when you need it. Like, to be
Yeah.
honest, some people, they might be in a really good place and they're not feeling overwhelmed and they're not feeling tired and their brain isn't loud and they're feeling good. And they might not journal for a couple of weeks, they're fine, but it's there for you when you need it, because life has its ups and downs. And one minute, you might be in a good situation and then something happens that you need to process, and then you can always turn to your journal when you need it for support. That's what it should really be there for. An outlet, a support, and a comfort when you need it, where you can express yourself freely without judgment in any way that you need.
Yeah. All right. So let's continue with this question that I think we'll close this part about the journaling thing. For someone who feels emotionally blocked or has been in survival mode for a long time, where
Mhm.
should journaling really begin?
Okay, so when we're in survival mode,
Yeah.
it constantly disconnects us from emotion to keep us functioning. So it's almost like a safety mechanism for our nervous system, is to block that emotion from coming out. And journaling helps us to reconnect slowly and safely without forcing anything open. That's when we gain that self-awareness, which helps us understand how we work. Because if we don't know ourselves, how are we meant to know how to handle situations? So it really helps us reconnect with ourselves. And it should begin very gently. So no deep questions, no pressure to feel something, because a lot of people say that. They're looking at a blank page and they're like, but I don't feel anything. I don't know what to write. And it's really hard and I don't know where to start. And that's really common. It's not unusual at all. And usually it's because they're overthinking rather than using it as a container to hear themselves and be heard. So sometimes the first thing you write in your journal might be something really simple, like, I don't know what to feel right now, but I'm here. Just a simple journal entry. It doesn't have to be deep and meaningful. Just, I'm trying this. Let's give it a go. And that's why I really recommend gratitude journaling for this sort of situation, because you're not going into the emotional side of things. You're just being grateful and trying to have a more positive mindset. And it works really well. Just focusing on that. And over time, when you've gotten into more of a routine and more of a habit and it becomes more natural, then you can start going into developing deeper journaling, looking at your emotions and things. And you'll probably find that as your mind enters a more positive mindset, your nervous system calms down, your emotions start to come out, and that's when you can start the process of like really getting a bit deeper about why you're feeling, how you feel, and reacting the way you react. Yeah.
And for someone who has been journaling for a while and understands the importance of doing these exercises, um, do you have any other like strategies or suggestions that they can apply or implement to improve their journal? I don't know, journey.
Well, I mean, there's so many different types of journaling out there. There isn't one type. So we're kind of talking about the written journaling right now, like writing things down to get them out of our head. But there's so many different types of journaling that there are out there to explore. So if somebody's kind of been doing a lot of the written work, I would suggest looking into something like more like creative journaling, expressing yourself more artistically, maybe if you enjoy crafty sort of artistic things. Just try different styles, and see how you go and experiment. That's when it gets fun, and you can start trying different types of journaling. I've got about
Well,
5 journals on the go this year of different types, so I'm trying to focus on which one. I've got different ones for all sorts of things. Like, some are just trackers, some planners, and then I have a creative journal. I have a journal beside my bed just for everyday thoughts, just whatever comes up. So just try and explore different types of journaling and see how you go.
Okay, so this type of different journal, because I don't know much about, for me, journaling is just sitting down and write. That's what I
Okay, yeah.
understand by journaling. So
Yeah.
what are those types or different styles? What do you mean? I understand if it is more artistic, like painting and express themselves through painting. What other styles are there?
So there's, I think more than styles, there would be different uses. So different practical tools you can use it for. So brain dump is an amazing one. Use that with a lot of my clients. So that is really good actually for people whose mind is really busy. Just to dump everything out on paper, no order, just dump it out. And then you can create categories once you've got all your information out. So if you have a lot on your mind, like mums and ladies who are running businesses and everything like that, put everything out on paper and then create 4 boxes on a sheet of paper. It doesn't have to be a journal, it can just be a sheet of paper, a notebook. And then you're going to make in the 4 boxes, you can put must do, should do, could do, won't do. And you go through your list and you put down grades. So 1 to 4, 1 being most important and 4 being something you can do another day, whenever. And then you can go through your list and take all the number 1 items and put them in the must do, because they're your priority. And then number 2 goes in could do, number 3 goes in should do, and number 4 goes in won't do. They're things that can just go off the list. And your focus then is to just go through box 1. And that's all you need to worry about. The other things, they're not high priority things for your day. So I love that type of journaling. Just the practicality of it is really good. What else? Like with the creative journaling, it's
Mm-hmm.
lovely. We actually do a creative journaling workshop every month with the journaling club. So we all get together with our crafty bits. And usually I create a theme, so it would be a mental well-being theme. Depends on what month we're doing, but this month is New Year, True You. So we're going to be probably creating a blueprint for this year going forward of the life that we want, created around where we are right now. So not changing ourselves or having to reinvent ourselves for the year, but just making life work for us instead of us striving and working for life. So yeah, that's lovely, that to really have that creative outlet is nice. I'm trying to think what other type of journaling. I mean, there's so many. I could sit here all day talking about different types of journaling. But I think as well, one of the nice written ones, if somebody wants to do this, is free flow journaling. Have you ever heard of that? Free flow
No.
journaling is where you just sit down and just write as much as you can for about 10 minutes. Just keep writing, no order, no plan, just whatever comes into your head, whatever comes into your heart, you just write it down. And then at the end of the 10 minutes, you just put it away. And you come back and process it then afterwards. So it's had time to just sit there. And it's amazing in all the information that you get with free flow journaling, the little snippets of gems that you take out of it that you might not even have thought you were thinking about or whatever. But that's quite that's more for people who have been journaling for a while, I think, because it can be hard for people who are just starting out to do free flow at the very beginning.
Yeah. I can't believe how powerful it is, because I remember one time I did the whole exercise with the main goal of understanding what was going into my mind. And despite I was the one who wrote the whole thing, when I read it, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually thinking that. It was so shocking.
Yeah,
So
it's an eye
yes,
opener.
definitely it is. Tasmin, and tell us a little bit in the first time that we spoke, you told me a little bit about how you got into this journaling thing, and can you share with us a little bit about that story, please?
Yeah, so I've been journaling all my life, really, since my teens, I would say. As a child, I had a diary. Don't know what was in that, who knows? But as a teenager, I found it really useful, um, because I needed to be able to express myself, and I didn't do it all the time. I just kind of had a journal and wrote in it occasionally. And then I became a CBT therapist. Which I love. And I did that for, well, I think it's about 8 years now. I've been a CBT therapist. But I really felt like there was a space for journaling and mental well-being kind of combined, because like you said, most people think journaling is just writing things down, but it isn't. There's so much more to it related to your well-being and processing emotions and everything. So I felt like the two would be really well combined, and there wasn't anywhere that I could see that happening. So that's when I decided to study to become a journaling therapist, to see if I could combine the two practices of CBT and journaling therapy. And that's when I created Being of Mind Method, which is my own creation, really, combining the two. So really helping people in a very focused way with their mental well-being through journaling. And really
That's
making
something.
use of that tool, really making it work for you. So
Yeah,
that's where I came up with what I do now.
amazing. Okay, and if someone is interested in having your, your services, first, what is it? What are your offers? What is it that you do? Do you work one on one? Do you have like your club? What kind of offers do you have, and how can they get in touch with you?
So I have the one-to-one sessions that I do privately. So if anyone wants to book one of those, you can contact me through Instagram, send me a DM, and we can arrange something. Or you can email me at tasmin@beingofmind.com, and we can set something up that suits both of us. But the one-to-one appointments are lovely, just to be able to, chat about something specific you want help with, related to journaling or mental well-being or any of those things. So really good support sessions. And then we also have the club, which is my passion at the moment. Put a lot of time into that, because I have a lovely group of ladies and a couple of men on there now as well, which is fantastic, because men need to take care of their mental well-being too. So yeah, we have that going. And at the moment, our theme is New Year, True You. And you can sign up to join the club via my website, which is beingofmind.com, and then go to the journaling club tab at the top. And if you're in the club, there is actually within your subscription a one-to-one session with me each month. So that comes with it, which is a
That's
great asset.
amazing.
Most of my club members love the fact that there's a one-to-one session with me once a month, and I love it too, because I love having the chats. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no, that's amazing. It actually helps a lot to have you
yeah,
one on one. That's great.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Tasmin, is there anything else that you would like to include here? I think I have one more question, and this is a reflection here before we
Okay.
go, and then let me
Mhm.
know if you want to add something else to this beautiful conversation. As we move into this new year, 2026, and let's hope this
Yay.
is very productive and a lot of abundance. Um, what does starting again really mean emotionally, beyond goals, resolutions, or productivity?
I think starting again doesn't mean having to become a whole new version of you. So I think emotionally it means reconnecting with yourself, where you are right now, getting to know who you are as a person, and what you need in life right now. Um, Giving yourself permission to begin where you actually are, not to feel like you have to change. Because there's nothing wrong with you, like you're enough as you are. So just accepting yourself as you are, and building a self-awareness that helps you balance your needs. So it's not about being productive. It's not about setting goals or resolutions or any of those things. Just about getting to know who you are and what you need. And journaling just reminds us then that we don't need to be fixed, and we don't need to be improved upon to move forward. We just need to be in a relationship with ourselves, to value ourselves and accept ourselves, and that's where the real change happens.
Yeah. I really want to thank you for this conversation, Tasmin. What I love about everything you shared today is the reminder that clarity doesn't come from fixing ourselves or doing more. It comes from creating safety and learning how to listen differently. If you're listening and something in this conversation resonated with you, let this be your permission to slow down and meet yourself where you are. You don't need the perfect words, the perfect routine, or the perfect mindset. You're already enough to begin. Journaling doesn't have to be another thing on your to do list. It can be a small, gentle space that belongs just to you. Tasmin, thank you for the work you do and for sharing it with us today. And to everyone listening, thank you for being here and for giving yourself this moment. This is everything for today's episode, and thank you. I'll see you in my next episode. Bye for now.